So you want to learn how to play Sage, but you don't want to look like an idiot in front of everyone you know and care about, because that tends to happen with a lot of Sage players. A lot of Sage players are just straight up idiots. I would know, because I am one, and I am a complete idiot. So I'm going to teach to the best of my ability how to play Sage and some tips and tricks that I learned through my, like, I don't know, 100-something hours of playing Sage. So yeah, let's get right into it. We're going to start off with her first ability. Her first ability is her Mei wall, which they basically just straight up copy and pasted from fucking Overwatch, because you know how Valorant is. It's just twice as annoying, and it takes fucking 10 years to erect fully. It actually takes about 1 full second, which is kind of insane, honestly, and leaves you vulnerable if you are trying to block someone off that is currently shooting at you, because they will probably just kill you. It takes about 1 magazine from a Vandal to destroy. And it takes fucking years with a pick to actually break this shit down, so don't even try doing that shit with your knife. Unless there's like 4 of you going at it, and even then it's dangerous. Next up we have our ice water balloon. You just shoot that shit, spiky stuff comes on the ground, slows people down, it's really fucking annoying. Lasts for about 10 seconds on the ground, makes a loud ass noise when you're walking in it. And you have her heal, which heals over time for 5 full seconds, and generally will heal you to about full HP. It doesn't always heal you to full HP. If you are taking damage and you use it, it's going to heal you to about 75. You can heal teammates with it, which is honestly the less useful use of it, because, you know, why would you heal teammates when you can just heal yourself? That's obviously the better play. Just heal yourself, keep yourself alive so you can get the kills, right? Next up is her res. This is pretty situational. It's actually pretty hard to get off unless a teammate dies in a place where you can actually res them. A lot of the times teammates will overextend and die, and you won't actually be able to get the res off, and a lot of the times you don't want to waste it in a round that is easily just won without the res. Personally, I just hold on to it until I find a situation where I can use it, but a lot of the times it is good to just pop and give yourself the upper hand in a round, because it does come up pretty quick, given it is a 0 out of 7, so it takes 7 charges to get it to full, which is 1 more than almost every other ultimate in the game, because it's fucking busted. So with her wall, the mechanics with her wall are kind of weird. If you are trying to cast it, say somewhere right here, it will break it if you're standing right there. So just be aware of that. If there's somewhere that you can actually clip into, it will just break the wall. You can't, if you try and place it on top of the spike, it'll just break the fucking wall. It only breaks the one segment with the spike under it. Trust me, I've tried to fucking use it to cover up the spike like an idiot. Didn't work for shit. For places like this, if there's anything like clipping right here, if you see there's higher elevation on this, you can actually place it upwards. I'm trying to find an example real quick. Let me find an example, a better example. Okay, so I couldn't find any examples on this map, except for this, I guess. If there's any prop that's sort of obtruding out of a wall, you can actually place a wall on top of it and it'll raise you up a little higher. Like, I'll use this as an example. Say this was basically the wall right here, and something this high was just barely sticking out of the wall. You could actually place this on top. As long as it's there, you can place this wall on top of it. Okay, well, that didn't fucking work. That was embarrassing. I'm gonna try that again, just make sure. Another thing you can do with this wall is to actually boost yourself up over different areas in the map. Right here, you can actually boost up and you can see directly into heaven, so you can see if someone's standing right there. There are many other places you can do this at. There's so many fucking exploits with this shitty ass wall. They need to fix them, because it is stupid as fuck. Another use for the wall is if you're trapped on sight and you need to get a line of sight, you could easily just place this under you. And you can actually see into heaven, you can see onto sight. It just creates an off angle that people won't really expect. Given it is a waste of your, it's not really a waste, but you are using your 1 charge from your wall to do something like this, so use it sparingly. Another good thing is if you're in a clutch situation, you can wall off 1 choke for yourself, so you have less areas to deal with. Now, with defending, this is an extreme piece of shit ability to deal with. If you are trying to attack and you just randomly see one of these fuckers go up, you're gonna be pissed, especially if you only have like 30 seconds on the clock. It can completely shut down a push. Given if there's enough people alive, if there's, say, 3 people alive, they can easily bust that shit down quick. They can break that shit down so fucking fast in the blink of an eye. But say that there's only one person left and you just block this shit off, he's fucked. What is he gonna do? He's just gonna sit there spamming this wall for 2 fucking mags of a Vandal? I mean, he can do that, don't get me wrong, but it's such a fucking cuck. Like, this is a cuck move. You see this shit go up in a 1v2 situation and you're trying to plant the spike and there's 2 people defending A site, you already know you're pretty much fucked. You gotta break this shit down or walk all the way around to mid. So just know that this wall right here is extremely powerful, it has a ton of health, and it is such a good tool for delaying pushes. It's so versatile, you can use it to get off angles consistently. You can get higher. You can get such good high ground with this shit. It's insane. Also, another thing with this fucking shitty ass wall, I will let you guys know that you can rotate this by holding right click. You can also rotate it by pressing the ability button again. It precisely rotates it. And just a forewarning, if you adjust this, just know it will stay adjusted. I learned that the hard way as I was getting pushed and I tried to put this fucking wall down and they just fucking walked around the wall and fucking shot me in the ass. Like, it was not fun. It was so embarrassing. I felt like an idiot. I was so pissed. I can't believe that I actually did that. Just know this shit will stay the same no matter if you switch your weapon or not. You have to change it back. So just know that, okay? And if you're planning on pushing into a site and you know a place to wall, you can easily just rotate it like this. And then say you want to push onto the site, so you just whip it out like that. It's already rotated. So there's a couple uses for it. It's very good. Just know you can rotate it. Because, I mean, if you're just placing a wall like this every time, it's not going to be that good. And another thing I really like doing with this wall, specifically on maps like this, is you can not only create an off angle for yourself, but you can also wall off a chokehold. So say I'm right here. I have an op. I can literally just wall myself up here. I can take the shot. I can fall. I can even grab this fucking alt door if I'm really feeling myself. But just know that if there's a shit ton of people that just break this shit. But you can literally wall up here and you have a perfect off angle to peek into this. If you're really cheeky, you can go up here, but you will probably die if you do that, so just keep that in mind. And once again, just remember this will deteriorate and eventually you will fall, so just keep in mind that your wall is slowly fucking melting and dying and wilting under you as you fucking stand on it like a dominant piece of shit. And a couple more things you can do with this wall that I forgot to mention is if you have a very tight choke, say this choke down here, I can't actually do it because it's in biphase, hold on. Okay, so this choke right here, what I like to do is, since you can place it like this, is you can literally do this, and they have to break through so much more to get through this choke, that it's unreal. They have to break through this one and this one. They have to break through 2. There's other ways you can position it. I'm sure there's a way you can do it where they have to break down 3, but you can easily do it like this, and if you're really feeling yourself, you can fucking take a peek like that, but I wouldn't recommend it. I always die when I do shit like that. It is not a very good idea. I will just point that out. Another thing is when this deteriorates over time, it just takes less hits. See that? It's going to take way less hits than if it was full health. So just note that, keep that in mind. The more it's deteriorated, the less damage it takes to break down. Also remember for these walls that not only are they just cheeky pieces of shit that you can throw up willy-nilly, but if you are retaking a site, say you're retaking from here, and you clear these 2 angles and you're worried about this, you can have it pre-rotated. You can literally just walk out like this, pop that shit up, and you are safe from that whole angle, which is insane. That's actually insane. You can clear this, walk up here. Given you're cutting off one route of path, so you're kind of choked through this center over here, but it shuts down something major that could easily be peeked from, like this box over here, and short is insane, and it is so hard to fight people there when you're coming out of, say, CT spawn. So just note that you can easily use this on retakes if you have it laying around and just waiting to be fucking used, because a lot of the times it's not used. You don't want to use it willy-nilly and just fucking wall off a random corridor for no reason at the start. If you hear people, then throw up the wall. But don't just use this shit for absolutely no reason. Like, that is kind of a waste. It's one of the best abilities in the game, and you gotta keep that noted. I know there are other spots on this map that you can wall off multiple angles with, which are very good. If you know of a spot where you can wall off multiple angles, then it helps a lot. And something like this, say I'm trying to get an off angle mid, I guess you could throw this shit up here. You can get an off angle and you're hitting a fucking double whammy on these guys, because you're blocking them off. They can't come through here if they're actually pushing through. They can't actually shoot you from down there unless a jet just jumps up here and fucking destroys you. But if you have a teammate there and you want to get an off angle on mid doors, you can do this. You can jump up. You can do all sorts of stuff with this fucking wall. That's why this wall is actually so insane. So you see how this is slightly protruding out of the wall? Anything like this that you see around the map, you can... Sorry for the fucking voice crack. Jesus Christ, I'm hitting puberty. Holy fuck. Okay, so anywhere that you see like this around the map that's slightly obtruding, you can literally just do this. You can literally just do this, and it will raise you up. And you have a great peekers. You have a great fucking angle into fucking corridor right here, into C-long. Like, this is actually such an insane angle, and if you can get another player to actually block this off after you get a pick, this is so strong. This is really good to hold with an op. Nobody is ever going to expect you up here. Just know that you have a limited amount of time to stay in this position once you're up here. Same goes for all these stupid ass boosts that I'm showing you. There's only a limited amount of time that you can actually use these before, you know, the fucking ice breaks, because it's fucking ice and it's fucking 98 degrees out here. Fucking in a sauna right now. So that's basically what I was trying to explain earlier when I was trying to say a shit that clips out of the wall like this. You can do shit like that with. It's kind of inconsistent. It's not, you can't replicate it 100% of the times, but it's just know that it's a thing. Know that it's a thing in this game. You can do this shit. You can actually do that. You can erect your wall 3 feet higher than it should ever be erected. Next up, we have the water balloon. The water balloon's pretty self-explanatory. You can bounce it off shit like that. It actually, I believe it bounces as many times until it hits a flat surface like the ground. So if I'm just to bounce it like that, it'll just keep bouncing until it hits the ground. It has an insanely large spread, so make sure if you're throwing it anywhere near teammates, you're not going to end up fucking cucking them like super hard by throwing this shit, because that is annoying as fuck. And I do it all the time. Like, I'm guilty of this. I understand. There's so many things you can do with this. There's a ton of places on certain maps that you can actually just throw these shit down. I'm actually going to switch to a different map real quick, and I'm going to quickly show some things you can do with this, and the ice wall actually, because the ice wall, I actually know a couple spots with the ice wall on this map. So this has many uses. There's actually a couple lineups. I learned this one a little bit ago. I swear to fucking God. Okay, so I actually learned this one a little bit ago. You can actually just throw shit like this, and this lands perfectly. Okay, anyways, as I was saying, this thing goes fast as fuck. This thing speeds the fuck in. So you can throw this from almost anywhere, and you can shut down a lot of fucking angles. Like, if you're trying to retake a site, you can walk out like this, clear a couple angles, maybe clear this. And then if you think someone's hiding back there, you can fucking ice that shit, ice back there behind the site, push out, clear these couple angles. You know what I'm saying? You can fucking hear them if they're in there. It's just so useful. It's so useful. And a lot of the times when I'm playing and there's an angle that I'm not too sure about, I can ice it out like that. And if I hear stepping, I automatically know they're fucking there. A lot of the times people will just sit in it like this, because if you get iced, it's pretty smart just to sit there so the fucking sage doesn't actually know you're there. A little bit of a mind game you can actually use. Like, say I'm here, I get iced, I don't want them to know I'm here, so I'm literally just gonna fucking balls deep this shit out and just sit here. Because walking out's gonna take forever, they're just gonna swing on me and fucking dome me. So that's one way you can actually sort of counter that, but it's not much of a counter. This is mainly just something to delay and something to gather a little bit of information with. It's very versatile, it has a huge range, it shoots fast as fuck. There are lineups that you can learn for it. It's a really crazy ability, and it's super cheap. I believe it only costs 100 if I'm not mistaken. So another thing with this abomination of a fucking ability, obviously, as I was stating earlier, you can't walk through, you can't shift through, you can't crouch through without making any noise, but you can bunny hop through it, which, you know, honestly is pretty nice. If I can, you know, just stop being an idiot for at least 10 seconds, I could probably do it. Oh my god, dude, I'm actually so stupid. Okay, so you can literally just jump through this shit like it's nothing, as opposed to this. And I'm pretty sure you can just jump through it normally without bunny hopping. Let me try. Yeah, you can just jump through it normally. So that's one way you can actually just get through this shit. I mean, sure, it's annoying, but you can do it. You can still do it. It's obviously going to be a little bit worse if you have a gun, because you don't want to just be jumping through shit like that. I mean, if you need to escape it, it's probably the best way, but just note that if you're standing inside of it and you try and bunny hop out, it's not really going to work at all. So just keep that one in mind, because that one is a pretty large cuck. So your heal is on a 30-second cooldown throughout the match. It's very good. It has a pretty decent range. While you're playing Sage, you can see the health bar of your teammates, so make sure you're looking out for that shit. Because your teammates are going to be pissed as fuck if they see some dumbass Sage just not healing them, and they have their heal the entire fucking round. Make sure you're using this shit on cooldown. Like, every 30 seconds you get this shit, you should be using it. It's very useful. You can save teammates' lives. You can save your own life. Personally, I prefer saving my own life because, you know, I'm just a good player, so I like just, you know, having full health. Even if my teammate's on fucking 10 HP and I'm on 90, I'm gonna use that shit on myself because, you know, I'm just like that. But being a good player, you should probably not do that. You know, you should probably heal your teammates if they're pretty low. If you're like 50 HP, they're like 10, just heal your fucking teammate, man. Don't heal yourself. Don't be that cuck. I mean, I'm that cuck, but I don't want to see people like me in this game. I'm already bad enough as is. And for the last thing, you have the res. Now, the res is a very, very strong ability. You see this shit in Overwatch. This shit is broken as fucking Overwatch. Everybody knows this. This shit was meta as hell for like a whole 3 months in Overwatch. I hated this shit. You got people playing Mercy, getting play of the game, just sitting behind shit. Now, the good thing about this is you can only use it once every like 2 or 3 rounds. If you're like popping it constantly. But situationally, I barely ever use this thing because I wait for a very good moment to actually use it. So just in case the round comes up where res would actually be very beneficial, I have it. But at the same time, you could also take the approach where you want to just use it consistently just to gain that small advantage just in case, which is also a very good way to play it. You don't always want to be sitting on it like I do. Sometimes I have a bad habit of just keeping it because I want to wait for the best moment to use it. That's not always the best option because there are a lot of times when you could literally just pick someone up and it would help you win the round so drastically, and you'd have a much better shot of winning it. There are a lot of times where I just decide to hold it because I think we can win a round where it's like a 3v2, and we end up losing the round because I didn't use the res. So just know that, sure, it is a 7-charge ultimate, but if you're a decent enough player and you're getting kills, it will come up pretty quick if you use it. And ult orbs are actually a very big part of the game. You can actually collect these pretty easily. I like to get one every round pretty much. If I have an opportunity to get one, I'll get one. Same goes for my teammates. I'll try and help them get the orb. It's kind of a play style that we do. We kind of play around the ult orbs and play around our ultimates because, you know, it is part of the fucking game, so why would you not do that? But anyways, the ultimate, very strong, very situational, but you can use it often if you deem it reasonable. Don't use it in a fucking 4v1 situation. I see that shit all the time. It really fucking makes me mad when I see that shit. Especially on the other team. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? That is so pointless. But, you know, maybe they just wanted, you know, they wanted the reassurance that that guy wouldn't pull out the 1v4 clutch, right? It's just basically how to play this character and not make yourself look like a complete ass, because I see so many Sage players that just don't know what the fuck they're doing. And this isn't me trying to be toxic, it's just generally they just don't know how to play the character. And I get it, this game's in closed beta. I shouldn't expect much. I barely even know how to play the character myself. I'm just kidding, I'm actually fucking insane at this character. But it is in closed beta, so you are going to see people that don't know how to play it, which is why I'm making this video, to sort of inform people on how to actually properly, for the most part, play this character. You can obviously refine my playstyle. I would actually suggest you do that. This is a very basic playstyle that I feel like a lot of people should be playing like by now. But I'm just trying to give people that don't understand really how to play this character a little bit of an advantage, because, you know, it's tough learning new characters in this game. It really is. So yeah. So that's about it for learning how to play the Devil Incarnate, aka Sage, fucking May V2, the worst fucking character ever introduced to a game since May. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or concerns, or you want to, get access to my OnlyFans, just go ahead and leave that in the comments below, and I will get right with you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the 10 views I'm soon to be getting on this video. Y'all have a wonderful fucking day.